All right, it's me. It's Tin. I'm going to do some casting here for NGS. I'm going to do Division D East Killer Meteors versus LTK Skyfall. Just going to take you through the maps a bit. We had Killer Meteors banning Volskaya Foundry and Alterac Pass. LTK Skyfall banning Sky Temple and Dragonshire. And it looks like Killer Meteors picked Battlefield of Eternity. And I didn't fully prepare. I didn't actually load the game yet, so I'm going to start that up and while we figure this out. And just going to wait for that to start up, then we'll get into talking about the draft. This is a replay cast. They did play this game 3 days ago on February the 18th. And of course, waiting for the game to do its preparing game data, downloading all the extra information that it already has, slowing me down and making me look silly. There are a lot of things to prepare to make this all work. And I forgot, of course, the most important one, which is have the game working. If I trusted myself to do 2 things at once, I would talk about something while it's loading, but I don't. So just bear with me for a moment. Okay. Because I'm going to try and do something a little bit different. And we'll see how that works. All right. So we're going to Battlefield of Eternity. I'm going to try this, and then if I do this,
Battlefield of Eternity.
we can pretend like we're in a draft. And I have Stats of the Storm loaded up. And I'm going to attempt to show you what the draft looked like. So red team got the first ban, and they banned Garrosh. And then blue banned, they banned Brightwing. And then red banned Greymane. Oh, I don't have the overlays for this. Oh well, I'll fix it for the next time. So I don't have the team names, but Killer Meteors are on the left, I believe, and LTK is on the right. Have to double check that in just a moment. And then the final ban was, of course, Johanna. First pick of this map was, where is it? Alphabetical, there. Was Vala, followed by, on the other team, there was, sorry, a lot of clicking to make this work, Anduin and Anub'arak. And then red got 2 more picks, and they picked red picked Stukov, and they picked a Rainer. And then for the ban phase, who banned first? Blue. They banned Diablo, And then red team banned Leoric. And then blue got 2 more picks, which they picked gotta find him. They picked Zul'jin and Malthael. And then red went ahead and picked up their next 2 heroes, their last 2 heroes. This is all the kind of stuff that I feel like I should have prepared ahead of time. They picked May, and they picked Hogger. And then the final hero for the blue team. Oh, man. Bam. What's Kel'Thuzad? So that's what the draft looked like. Starting out with tank bands from Killer Meteors, and actually with the Garrosh it was from LTK as well. Obviously Joe didn't make it through. A little bit Kel'Thuzad, a little bit spicy. It's kind of one of those hit or miss characters that can win the game by itself or, you know, just be dead weight. So we'll have to see how that turns out. On the other side, Stukov and May, a lot of area control, and Vala and Raynor for race, and Hogger in the off lane. So, yeah, let's take you into the game now. That's not in the game. Is that the game? Weird. I don't know why it's showing my desktop. But we're in the game. So, here we go. On the left side, we have Killer Meteors with Nyx on Anduin, Rano on Anubarak, Torquin on Kel'Thuzad, Skyflare on Zul'jin, and Your Majesty on Malthael. And on the red side, we have LTK Skyfall with Dreamcrusher on May, Phase Shifter on Raynor, Texas on Vala, Zink on Stukov, and Vom on Hogger. Taking a brief look at the talents, we do have Powered Shield, Recklessness, Auto Attack Vala, Stukov Reactive Ballista Spores, Cooking for Hogger, Plague Lands for the longer Death and Decays for Kel'Thuzad. Team's just setting up, sharking around. Zul'jin in an interesting spot down bottom. I guess just looking for a flank. Meanwhile, the top lane getting a little bit closer into each other. Majesty taking some damage from that Hogger, but he'll heal up off the minion wave fairly easily. Waves getting cleared up. Experience getting taken. Anubarak taking some damage, but he's got shields. He's got a healer. He's just fine. Neither team really taking too much of an advantage. Malthael a little bit lower, but not too much. There's a wave here. He's about to start healing again. And as long as there's a whole minion wave, he's going to be hard to kill. But Raynor decides to come and see if he can do something about that. So let's watch this gank that doesn't happen. Raynor decides not to go for it. Malthael's too healthy. He just goes up to the top camp. He showed while doing this, so Killer Meteors is taking the opportunity to go in and get some pressure onto the wall. Malthael knows this is happening, but against 2 members, I don't think he's going to be brave enough to step forward. And then meanwhile on the bottom lane, Killer Meteors is going to take their own camp. Kel'Thuzad stacking up, 7 stacks already. Stukov not getting that lurking arm to anywhere. Distance, just... The camp's taken, one for each team. LTK Skyfall takes top camp, Killer Meteors takes bottom. It's back to a 4v4 in the bot lane. Zul'jin getting a few stacks, Kel'Thuzad closer to his quest completed. Anubarak goes in, Kel'Thuzad gets a big chain and combo. Stukov drops the silence just to peel back, and May gets out just fine. If Stukov was on Kel'Thuzad's team, that would have been death for sure. But fortunately for LTK, they have the Stukov. 220, LTK peels back to take their camp. With Vala and Raynor, they're going to do that very quickly. And 4 members from Killer Meteors on the left side, taking their camp. LTK takes theirs actually a little bit early. There's going to be some time to clear it up before the Immortals spawn. But not really taking too much advantage of that. Malthael is there. Actually, the team does rotate up. They're going in on the Hogger. Double stun from the Anub. The chain comes, but the Glacial Spike isn't there yet to keep him in place. And Hogger gets away just barely. Meanwhile, the race has started bottom with the Raynor and the Vala. Actually, the Vala's in the lane. So just the Raynor. Vala doesn't have the Monster Hunter yet, so her race not as strong as it will be later. And overall, the Immortals fairly even. LTK is about 500 health healthier. It's like 2 autos from one of these characters, so it's not much. May checks the bush, gives Kel'Thuzad 1 stack, but no other punishment. Kel'Thuzad needs 2 more for the spike. As these teams start poking each other. Zul'jin going in on the Immortal on the left. Peeling back for some axes. Kel'Thuzad gets a big chain combo, doesn't get the root, but does get his 15. His next combo can be against a single person. Zul'jin a little bit isolated, being chased down and killed. There's first blood. Anubarak with the shield and the stun might have enough time to get out. Just barely. Hogger goes in with the Hog Wild, gets the angle, but not the damage. Combo catches Raynor, but the team's too low to chase down. And lots of near deaths, but only the 1 kill. I'm being told that I have the teams on the wrong side, so hopefully that should be fixed now. And I apologize for that. That is amateur move. I had too many other things to think about. But if I'm trusting this person in chat, it's fixed. But the Immortal comes up, and the siege begins. Zul'jin and Hogger in the bottom lane. So interesting change in the rotation. Malthael up here to help clear the Immortal. Zul'jin actually rotating up to come for the flank. Stukov gets a 4-man lurking arm. Zul'jin comes in right on the Vala, does a ton of damage, and backs out. Doesn't want to be too long in the back. Anubarak taking a bunch of damage from the Raynor, but Raynor taking fort damage, backs off, and just the wall going down. Meanwhile, Hogger spinning, doesn't quite get the straight line infinite spin, but does do a lot of damage and doesn't look like anyone's going to rotate down to stop him. And the rest of his team, which is Killer Meteors, my apologies, taking the top camp. Kel'Thuzad gets another chain, lands the root actually, with the Anduin root, and the Stukov takes a bunch of damage, but with the reactive ballista spores is able to keep himself alive. May walks into another root into the spike. The Unstoppable was there to heal, but she can't move while she's unstoppable, and Anub comes with the follow-up, and May goes down. Zul'jin very low, could risk it for the extra auto attack speed, but decides to back off to stay alive. And Malthael going into Hogger. Does get hit by the dynamite, and Hogger heals a little bit. The top camp was not actually taken because of that fight, and so now LTK Skyfall goes ahead and does that. Camps up in 4 and 10 seconds, so if their teams are fast, they could take the the summoner camps, but looks like only Raynor and now Hithos's team is doing that. The invade may be coming through, neither team 10 yet. Zul'jin goes in for vision, Noob dives in, and Kel'Thuzad gets the chains. It's on Hogger, so only 1 stun from that. And Raynor doesn't get last hit by that Zul'jin. 1 more auto would have done it, but he doesn't quite get it. And nobody dies. Kel'Thuzad at 26 stacked. He's about to start doing some serious damage. But LTK Skyfall does invade the camp and steal it away. instantly gets cleared out by the team, but LTK does get the experience from it and the first priority on the race. And Killer Meteors did chunk it down in the 3 seconds they had to race. They got half of that damage done. Vala getting some auto attack stacks. Here comes the Frost Blast from Kel'Thuzad and the chain follow up. Big roots from Anduin, but the Stukov healing is there. Stukov is cocooned and stuck behind the team. There was the May Blizzard to peel back the team, and that looks like it might be enough to keep him safe. Yes, he barely makes it out, and Hogger spins in the back line. Blue team a little bit low, but Hogger Hortapults out. Raynor gets caught, and Kel'Thuzad gets the kill. Anubarak in some trouble, gets silenced, and can't get out. So 1-for-1 in the end. Looks like LTK wanted to start racing, but they're being chased down by Killer Meteors. Meanwhile, Vala just alone doing the race on her side. She did take Monster Hunter with the auto attack build. So good auto attack damage and good Q damage. But we'll see if Kel'Thuzad and friends can poke down this Immortal enough before Vala. It looks like they will be able to. Malthael goes right into 3 people, not afraid. And LTK picks it up.
Our triumph brings order to this realm.
And the fight's not over. Kel'Thuzad gets another big chain off of the CC from Anubarak. And with the Frost Blast, I don't think May's getting away. So Raynor and May both go down just before the defense. So this should be a very strong push from LTK Skyfall, as Kel'Thuzad just soaks up a massive amount of experience just sitting on the ground. Oh, Kel'Thuzad lands the root onto Vala, who barely is able to vault away from the Anub. Does get cocooned, so as soon as that's out, she's not long for this world. Vault should be back, but the root was perfectly timed from the Kel'Thuzad. She's not going anywhere. Kel'Thuzad does take some fort shots, but not nearly enough to be a problem, and gets him healed up immediately. And the Mortal still almost full health. Shield's gone, but able to do a lot of damage. Raynor does drop the Hyperion to help clear, but Hyperion does have a limited number of targets it can hit with all those minions and heroes and things. It's not doing quite enough. And the wall goes down. Anubarak still dropping beetles. Kel'Thuzad, Death and Decay. Very effective. And half of the top keep is down. May tries to chase, but LTK does get out. Kel'Thuzad, fully stacked, clears camps very quickly, and with Zul'jin backing him up, that camp just melted. It's kind of funny because Kel'Thuzad uses ice and melting things, you know, melting it with cold. That's how it works. Meanwhile, bot lane, just kind of looking at each other. Not too much heroes can do against each other. You don't expect one to kill the other. And LTK takes their summoner camp, and there's nothing else to do on the map except go to lanes and maybe look for a pick somewhere in a rotation, or push down a wall. You do have the Anub, but Killer Meteors are rotating down, so if they did push in, they'd be in a dangerous spot. Bottom camp did come up, and Kel'Thuzad and friends take it out. And 5 men in the bot, here comes the siege. The Frost Blast, a little ambitious, way over the wall. The spike is there, but actually catches the May, but she unstoppables and should be able to just walk out of here. No, the Anubarak says, I'm going to burrow charge in. There's a stun. Pretty decent ice wall, but the Stukov was cocooned and rooted in the Death and Decay, so meanwhile, in the back, Malthael gets the last rites on the May. I didn't really expect the May to go down, with everyone else focusing on the Stukov, but well played. And this camp just getting cleaned up. 8 seconds on the Immortal, 6 seconds on May. So they will have 5 members up to deal with it, as Raynor kind of gets caught by the Malthael. Noob burrows in, Anduin goes for the root, does catch the root and the stun, and Kel'Thuzad's there. Just a body block, but misses the chain, but gets the root, and he just explodes. Zul'jin saved by the Anduin. Frost Blast keeps the Vala from charging. Vala almost could have gotten 2 kills. But the whole team is there, so it's a bit dangerous. and she walks away. And that Reino kill gives LTK a good head start on the Immortals. It is on defensive sides, so Killer Meteors can't really step up to attack the Immortal. They did get some damage earlier, but they backed off. And halftime is here. There's a camp available. And Kel'Thuzad finds a two-man route in the bottom. Hogger does spin out, but right into Zul'jin, who kills him off. The cocoon instantly burned down. Peels from Stukov. Guillotine from Zul'jin not quite connecting. Three-man stun from the Anub. He dives in. Light bomb. I think that's the first light bomb we've seen. Catches two, and Mei goes down. Malthael chasing the Stukov, but he's got a wall to get behind. Malthael could teleport over it, but maybe not the wisest of choices. As Malthael starts to camp, and the rest of the team, well, Kel'Thuzad does the race with the Anub, and the rest of the team comes up and helps with the camp. So it's going to be an Immortal and a camp going over to LTK. And on top of that, they have the 16 talent advantage. So this is going to be a scary, dangerous push, as there is a fort in the way, but LTK is already behind it with the Anub, just preventing the team from getting even close to starting to clear the Immortal. The fort's going to go down before the Immortal even gets there, and we'll have to see if there's an engage as Killer Meteors run to their wall. Looks like no, Anubarak's not going to charge in, just going to wait for the Immortal and siege with that. Hogger drops some dynamite, does a bit of damage. I was going to say, Ambitious Glacial Spike does catch the Vala, but without vision. I'm not sure she was expecting to, or he, and didn't have the follow-up route. But the Frost Blast is there, and that route was definitely there. Depth and Decay does a ton of damage. Vala goes down and sets up the Stukov, and the may go down to Last Rites. No, Last Rites has already been used. My apologies. Just goes down to regular damage. Zul'jin tanking the Hyperion and the Keep does survive. And with 3 members down and a full health Immortal, LTK is pushing for the win. Zul'jin not quite stacked, trying to get those last hero hits in before the game ends. No, he's going for the core. He doesn't care about his stacks. Winning is enough for this Zul'jin. And that's going to do it for game number 1. Let's see if that worked. So I'll just leave you on the stats screen for a moment. Yeah, pretty strong showing from LTK once I put them on the right sides. That Kel'Thuzad definitely landing a lot of his abilities. The Anubarak cocoons were followed up beautifully. The Anubarak engages with the stuns, and the Anduin roots, just all of their CC lined up very well and got them a lot of kills. 13-2. So very well played. I'm going to excuse me, change the scene a bit as I reset my draft. I'm going to try to do this again a little more professionally. This is the first time I've tried this, so it's just going to be a couple minutes before game number 2. Alrighty, and I'm back. Hopefully I have everything set up properly, so we'll try this out and see if it works this time a little bit smoother. But we are going to go to the map view, and we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. And it is a replay, so I'd sometimes mess things up, but I think Killer Meteors picked this one. But I'm going to go back to my fake draft and walk you through it.
Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Okay, so the first ban was Brightwing, followed by Garrosh, followed by Joe, followed by Greymane. So the bans basically the same as game number 1. Nobody likes Brightwing. Nobody wants the other team to have Joe, and Garrosh, Greymane on the side, just keeping them out of the hands. First pick was Ragnaros, and then we had Anduin and Leoric picked. So Anduin looks like he changed sides and followed up with Stukov and a Nubarak. So the Nubarak went through again. It was very strong the first time. So I'm kind of surprised it got through, but maybe they were even more worried about the Garrosh. Stukov did go over, so they could do, like, as I said in the first game, having Stukov on their side would have been very advantageous, and this time they have it. They don't have the Kel'Thuzad, though. It is a different map, so maybe they have a different plan. Then the bans, Red banned Kael'thas, and then Diablo was again banned. Then ETC and... Oop, that's not right. Sorry, I hit the wrong thing. ETC and Nazeebo were picked up, followed by Zul'jin and Mephisto. So no Kel'Thuzad, but Mephisto this time. Very strong in concentrated tight areas with big team fights, which Tomb of the Spider Queen can be. And the fifth hero was Zeratul. Unfortunately, not too many squishy heroes, just really sort of the Mephisto and maybe the Stukov, but with like reactive Ballista Spores, Stukov isn't as squishy as you'd like. So I'm not sure who Zeratul is planning on ganking, but we'll have to see how that pays off for him. So I'm going to take us into the game, hopefully. Yes, perfect. And we'll get going. On the left side, on the blue side, we have LTK Skyfall with Twerquin on Mephisto, Rono on Anubarak, Your Majesty on Ragnaros, Nyx on Stukov, and Skyflare on Zul'jin. And on the right side, we have Phase Shifter on the Leoric, Sync on Anduin, Vom on Zeratul, Eye Cadet on Nazeebo, and Dreamcrusher on ETC. There we go. Okay, and talents and the mid fight. Here we go. Zul'jin lands a couple of axes, but otherwise the team's not really engaging. We do have the Ballista Spores, Skull Missiles, Recklessness on the Zul'jin, Cleave for Zeratul, Lightwell, Spiders for Nazeebo, and Block Party. Not too surprising, Block Party against the Zul'jin. But big engage onto the Leoric, the dive, and the silence, but he just sort of walks out and he's just fine. ETC rotating top to deal with the Ragnaros, who got the wave early, whereas Leoric going down, but not being left to alone, as 3 members do try to chase him down. Stun completely cancelled out by the Wraithwalk, but there are 4 members down here, making his life difficult. However, that doesn't mean the wave is up to the wall and it's sort of frozen, so that's very easy for Leoric to pick up now. But the rotation mid is good, and Killer Meteors are already a little bit behind on soaking up these waves. The Nazeebo wall did land where Anubarak was, but he dove out and wasn't caught by it. Some spiders are landed, and Nazebo starting to build stacks. Ragnaros soaking in the top. Only one skill missile so far. Zul'jin's at 2 out of his 30. It's 4 members in the bot lane again. So it looks like... I'm not sure what it looks like. I was going to say Ragnaros maybe double soaking, but the team's rotating up. So Ragnaros is top lane. 4-man rotation. Whereas Killer Meteors is sort of a little bit more split up. Neither team going for their camps just yet. Stun does come in onto the Mephisto. He does get caught in the zombie wall, but Nazebo takes all of the damage. Maybe not all the damage, there was some left over, and Anduin soaks up his fair share. So Nazebo and Anduin both going down in that little skirmish. Zeratul getting some damage onto their Ragnaros, but he's healing up off the minions just fine. Ragnaros a lot more sustain than the Zeratul there. So Zeratul going to have to do a lot more than just hit and run tactics to take him down. So for the moment, until he gets more talent, just probably soaking the lane to not fall behind in experience. Going in on the Lyric again, Wraith walk out, he's perfectly safe. Lots of action in all 3 lanes as these teams rotate back and forth. And as I say that, they stop fighting each other. Yeah, Lyric goes in. Lyric versus Stukov, that's not a common 1v1 you see. A little bit of looking at each other over the turn-ins. LTK did turn in 33 gems already. They're 1 shy of the objective. A lot of damage coming in onto the ETC, but he had armor, so standing in the light wall doesn't really seem to take any damage. As turn-in is available, but they need to turn in every gem but 2. Zeratul taking some hits, and just LTK, all of their heroes are full health. Nobody's even injured, so their sustain is clearly winning out so far. Gonna have to see some change-ups to Killer Meteor's strategy to get some kills of their own. But 3 men rotate down to the little Leoric. He can't really step out too far. He's just waiting for the experience to come to him. A wise move. As Anubarak... Oh, I missed it. Mephisto goes down to the 4-man in the mid. As Anubarak was down the bottom, pushing in the wall, not there to protect his team. Good zombie wall onto the Anubarak, but with the spell armor, he takes almost no damage. Zul'jin does go down in the back, however, and Nazebo does have 69 stacks. You may think that's nice if you like. Zeratul now soaking top, just fine by himself. But the turn-ins are... some of the turn-ins were started but not completed. A slide onto the Anub. He has the burrow and the shield. As Killer Meteors picks up the first objective of this game. 7's online for both teams. Full spiders for Nazebo. Wormhole and cleaves for Zeratul. What else is interesting? We got Arcanite Axes. Nobody else's talents matter. Looks like first siege is going to be a top lane. Mephisto going in for some damage. Big stun from the Anub. Silence follow up. And there's a zombie wall trapping the Anduin, who almost got a heal off, but decided to go for the walking. And Anubarak got that last hit. Big slows from the Stukov on 3 members who are low health, but they do survive. So top gets cleaned up. The gate goes down, but not the towers. Mid gets cleaned up by the camp. Doesn't even make it to the towers. And bottom is being cleaned up by Rag, who did get the full wall. So not a terrible objective, but taking those deaths and that one really hindering the team. Anub just barely makes it out, but barely is enough. And the Lightning Nova from Torquin coming through to catch that Zeratul. Just enough damage to get the kill. As Mephisto's not stacking terribly quickly, but he is getting the damage nonetheless. There's a way to check that. Well, Zul'jin doing more, but 10k, 13k, both well above the heroes from Killer Meteors. So 10's not online yet, but the objective is coming for LTK. Ragnaros and Leoric fighting bottom. Little bit of a skirmish mid as Zul'jin, the other Z hero, looked to be in a bit of trouble, but not enough follow-up to take him down. And the siege begins. Just a healer and a tank in the top lane for the moment. Zebo is rotating up. Leoric in the bot, Zeratul mid. Oh man, I missed it. Zeratul does pick up the Ragnaros kill. Leoric picks up the Ragnaros kill. I know heroes, trust me. But still 4 men in the top lane, sieging, and the wall goes down. ETC does not want to step up. Oh, does want to step up, apparently. He goes right in on that Anub. And there's the voodoo damage from Zebo. Void Prison makes the Zebo does time out. Mosh Pit gets cancelled, and Anub, even though he's so low, there's no damage to follow up. Zeratul does try to go in, but he's getting healed, and he has shields with that armor. ETC goes down, and Zeratul goes down for that chase. The other lanes are cleaned up, but there's 5 blue heroes pushing in on a keep with no real defenders. Zebo is fully stacked on his spiders, so he's doing a lot of damage, but most of the time it's Anubarak who's stepped up and has that 60 armor, so not doing them as much damage as maybe Zebo wants to. 4 men collapse onto Leoric, who does Wraith Walk out. Silence doesn't stop that once you started, so he just walks out just fine and avoids the gank. 10s are online from both teams. They aren't currently fighting each other, so we can look at them. We have Entomb, Void Prison, Light Bomb, Ravenous Spirit, which we saw in the Mosh Pit. We saw most of those actually already. And Endurance of Hate, which didn't connect last time, but it's a short cooldown, so watch out for it. Lava Wave on Tomb is it's a tiny map, so it's a very interesting choice. Have to see how much value it gets. Guillotine and Cocoon. Actually, now all I want to see now is what this Lava Wave does. That's my goal in this game. Leoric coming for the flank, but he's completely isolated. Anub in the zombie wall just doesn't want to use his burrow charge, just sits there. Shields the spiders, but the shield goes down. He takes a ton of damage. Burrows out. Does get ahead of the... what's it called? Ravenous Spirit, excuse me. And gets out. Cocoon goes out. Void Prison goes out. 3 members in it. Mosh Pit not available for 10 seconds, unfortunately. Zombie wall catches 2. The root's there. Health bar is low, and Mephisto goes down. Zul'jin also goes down. ATC gets the last axe, and 2 kills go over to the side of killing Meteors. Doing a lot better in this game as they are first to level 13. Meanwhile, as I was mentioning, Lava Wave did clear out the entire bot lane as 5 members from both teams were brawling, and that's going to get a decent amount of damage onto this fort. As the fight continues, 3-man mosh pit, but they have to walk through the silence. Sorry, 2-man mosh pit, because Dukov wasn't in it. He was just standing next to it, silencing the team so they couldn't come in for the damage. So, very well played from Stukov, just barely making it out of that, and keeping his team safe. That was pretty amazing. In fact, I'm going to do a thing, which I don't normally do. We're going to go back about 30 seconds, because I was looking at the bot lane. Because I want to highlight that, let's get that out of here. Let Stukov play. I want to catch the whole thing. And in replays, you can do that kind of stuff. So how did this fight start? ETC just chased down the Anub, misses the slide. Zombie wall goes out, doesn't connect. And there's the Mosh, just barely not catching that Stukov. And the peel's there. So very well done. I don't have instant replay set up, but doesn't mean we can't have some fun here. But Killer Meteors did get their spiders in the meantime. Ragnar's popping his trait to just do this a bit faster. Looks like he's actually aiming at the top lane, not the mid lane, as his team is there. And so those two both get cleaned up very quickly. Bot lane was pushed out by the lava wave, so the minions are doing a pretty decent job. It's about half. But this fight, Zeratul is cocooned. Durance comes up a little bit early, but catches him anyway. as it hits the Anduin, and Anduin goes right down. Anub'arak doesn't get killed because of the silence, and Zul'jin goes off in exchange. Health bar is very low, both teams. Anub'arak does get the long-range charge and follow-up stun. Anub charges out 6 health remaining. ETC gets out. This whole match is the matchup of almost getting those kills on both teams. Meanwhile, almost got that fort, but not quite, as it escapes death. As LTK does push in and take their bot fort.
Blue team has destroyed a fort.
And there's a bit of a lull as LTK takes a bot camp, doesn't show on the map. Anub does find the rest of the team, gets stunned, burrows out, should be fine, has the follow-up stun to peel for himself. There's the Durance of Hate onto ETC. Damage comes in onto Nazeebo, ETC not the target. He ice blocks out, but has nowhere to go, does fall. ETC gets out alive, Void Prison, and Cocoon. So just a bunch of heroes not being able to play the game for a little while. The Cocoon went off first, it was in the Void Prison, so it lasted extra long. And there go all of his gems, as well as his life. Normally Void Prison doesn't affect Zeratul, but inside of a Cocoon, apparently it does, and it just took him right out of the game. Meanwhile, Leoric is taking this camp and is showing on the map doing it. With 2 heroes down, that would be an opportunity to invade, but LTK, a bit too far away, just wants to push the lanes up a bit and focus on this top lane. Allows the team to get the camp in exchange for having the spiders spawn right up against the wall with a catapult and 2 waves worth of minions. And with no defenders as they were still camping, the wall's gone before the heroes get here, let alone before the spiders do. So this top lane push, very scary. Zeratul trying to do what he can. ETC does knock the team back and invades the Durance of Hate. Spider's going to do what they can. But I don't think this keep is making it out. Mosh goes in onto the Spider Queen. Not quite stunning that out. He does basically bait the Anub into taking tower shots, and the Nzeebo takes him out. But the keep does go down. So Anub goes down for a keep, and Ragnaros gets a 2-man stun. Lots of damage onto that ETC, slides just to get himself out. Very good Entomb onto the Zul'jin, gets that kill. Meanwhile, Mephisto Shading is a bit far forward. Void Prison, I'm not sure what that's doing. You do have 5 members, just kill them and move on. And they do. Mephisto goes down, and Ragnaros gets kind of tortured and slowly killed. I expected more of a blow up with 5 heroes right on him, but he goes down as well. And this is Killer Meteors' time to make a play. 3 heroes down, they go straight to boss. It's scouted, they showed right in lane, but they don't care. It's an Anub and a Stukov. Shouldn't be enough to stop this on their own, but may just be enough to scare the team off and buy time. Or just, yeah, distract them, make them chase, and now Zul'jin's alive. Now it's a 3-man defense. Entomb is available. That can, yeah, there it is. Zone them back. Maybe I would have saved it until the boss was dead to keep them from getting on the point. The guillotine does help with the boss kill. It's converted, and Killer Meteors gets the boss. The Ravenous Spirit comes out on the Anub. This time does go down. No shield, no spell armor that time. The slow onto the Zul'jin, that's a double kill with the boss. The Durance does land, and it gets spread, but no follow-up. And this fort is definitely going down. We'll see how much more this team can get out of this push.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
And Zeratul has peeled back to get some experience and clear the waves. Meanwhile, Lava Wave onto the huge slow from Stukov. Ice Block saving Nzeebo from a ton of damage. But Mephisto and Ragnaros are both there to follow up as the team backed off. No Leap of Faith from Anduin. Was there a Leap of Faith from Anduin? It was off cooldown. Oh, it is off cooldown. I'm not sure if it was off cooldown. But in any case, Nazebo goes down to a ton of burst damage. Mephisto's still working on those stacks, but hero damage. Actually, Zul'jin's doing a ton of hero damage. But Nazebo is contributing with those Durances of Hate. They've been very good. Big dive onto Leoric, who Wraith walks out, but takes half of his life in the meantime. You're unstoppable, but you're not invulnerable. Big slow and silence. He's still trying to walk out. The root, it does not connect. Guillotine doesn't quite connect, but the cocoon is there, and the chase with the Anub is on. The Durance lands, but this time Leap of Faith used. The knockbacks, the light bomb, everything just to get this guy out. Root comes out, and ETC stays alive. So only Leoric going down. A lot of ults being used. Only one for Killer Meteors, but 4 from LTK. But they did get the 1 kill for it. Turn-in unavailable for Killer Meteors, but without 5 heroes, they don't necessarily want to do it. Where is Leoric hiding? He's with the team. He could be providing vision, but he's about to spawn, so you don't want to spawn too far forward. I swear I heard a bunch of sheep. I'm not sure what that's about. Camp looks like it's being invaded on. Good zombie wall to keep the noob back. The members from LTK letting the camp go. Looked like they wanted to push mid, but just going to clear this camp up. Both teams have 20s, and this is the time for big plays. Big Mosh onto 1, Entomb with silence onto 2. That's a little bit bigger. Void Prison in the back. Stukov trying not to walk into it, but the big Durance onto 3. Yes, 3. Guillotine connects, doesn't do too much damage as he was full health. But now Mephisto doing tons of damage with those Lightning Novas. But with only 3 members alive, LTK really just trying to get out. So 2 really good kills with those 20s with the Buried Alive. We do have Shadow Mending. Interesting. It looks like Stukov went the Lingering Silence, so you can trigger your explosion. So that was what the silence was there. Attacks, Burn, and Spirit, Bolt of the Storm. Heroic difficulty, Shade Lord for the double Novas, and Forest Medicine for the healing, and Traitor King. So even more spell armor for that Anub, making him a little bit more tanky. But Killer Meteors in the meantime does have their spiders pushing. Zul'jin getting a ton of free damage on this mid one. And their lanes not being pushed too far. Top it's dealing with minions, bottom's dealing with minions. And mid kind of getting cleaned up. The Durance is there, but the Wraithwalk is also there. Lava Wave will clean up most of this, but the bottom fort will go down. It didn't have any health left anyway. As Zeratul barely makes it out alive. The Guillotine almost connects and would have killed for sure. Nazebo Cocoon, there's the Buried Alive onto the Anubrak, but Leoric, his team not nearby, does take all the damage and goes down. Meanwhile, Cocoon wears off, and Nazebo's got nowhere to go. That's Stukov slow, very powerful. And that's 2 kills for LTK Skyfall. And they still have the structure advantage. It hasn't changed too much. And I swear, this game, I lied to you. Bottom did manage to somehow survive. Again. What did I say? This matchup is all about staying alive. Levels are even, kills are even. It's just the structures that are at a disadvantage, and 2 heroes missing for Killer Meteors at the moment. Big engage from the Anub does catch Chink as he just gets annihilated. Light Bomb comes out but doesn't actually go off. ETC now trying to escape. There is a Ragnaros flanking and body blocking as the slows are coming in. The silence comes in and he goes down. The body block was good, and that's 2 more kills. Staggered out. Nazebo about to respawn, but the pressure's on the mid keep, which frankly they can walk past it. The top is already down, but killing it does give them a little bit more room. Maybe they want 1 more hero kill before they end the game. But no, they're just giving Ragnarok his trait. Cocoon comes onto the Leoric, so now it's a 5 versus 2. Zul'jin going in to do what he can, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it. A big stun from Ragnaros. Zul'jin goes down. Zeratul, not Zul'jin. Sorry, they both have the Z names. Hero's getting low, though. But not low enough. And the core goes down. Making it LTK Skyfall, taking it 2-0. So 17 to 14 kills. Pretty close, just a few at the end to push them over the top. Obviously, Ragnaros got a lot of siege damage with the lava wave. Basically just used it to push the lanes they weren't in when they were fighting 5v5. Got some value. Again, tiny map. Interesting pick, but it worked out for them. And yeah, GG's. Good luck next time. Killer Meteors did have a lot of good plays in that last game. And so they're definitely not getting outclassed. They just, you know, sometimes you take losses that one team has to lose. And so they played well. And looking forward to seeing them again in the future. So GG's, and I will catch you next time.